all the heavens will collapse.
If we started doing everything right from today, it would still take another 200 years to repair the damage we've already caused.
Sadhguru is not just a speaker, he is a spiritual teacher with a unique gift, addressing profound topics with an ironic, light and incredibly accessible tone. His words strike a chord, but to truly understand their meaning, you must listen to him until the end. His recipe. A blend of wisdom and humor to push you to see reality with fresh eyes. Don't be fooled by the lightness of his tone. Behind every word lies a deep and thoughtful vision that could change how you see the world. Get ready, because what he's about to say will shake the foundation of many of your deepest beliefs. Well, that's the end of the important introductions. Let's give the floor to Sadhguru.
A new generation is emerging. Young people whose way of thinking and looking at life has changed in many ways. For the first time in human history, more people are capable of thinking for themselves than ever before. It's not about thinking correctly or incorrectly, but about the fact that they think. In the past, it was scriptures that thought for you, the clergy that thought for you, an elder who decided for you, or perhaps the wise man of the village. Today, everyone is starting to think for themselves, and when that happens, people reach a point where, if something doesn't make logical sense, they cannot accept it. And if you try to impose it, they won't be able to assimilate it. This is what is happening now. Think about your children. If God himself were to come and speak to them, and they found no logic in his words, they would reject him. We are living at the very beginning of this transition. It's a crucial moment because we are heading toward an era where only the truth will have authority. Only what is true will hold power. The mere fact of possessing authority will no longer be enough to hold the keys to the truth. Within 20 years, all the heavens will collapse. But what do I mean by heavens collapsing? Do you know what's in the heavens? You need to know. In the Hindu heaven, the food is delicious. If you're a lover of fine cuisine, that's the place to be. In the Norse heaven, glorious battles in the morning and endless feasts at sunset. If you love battles and celebrations, that's your destination. In another one, the Muslim heaven, you will encounter many virgins. If that's what you desire, you might choose that place. But what do you have to do to get there? In Alabama, in the United States, a school teacher asked her students, "What do you have to do to go to heaven?" Little Tommy answered, "If I clean the church floor every Sunday, I will go to heaven." "Exactly," replied the teacher. Another little girl added, "If I share half of my pocket money with a less fortunate friend, I will go to heaven." That was correct, too. Then little Jimmy, sitting at the back of the class, stood up and said, "You have to die first." And that's how it is. To go to heaven, you must first die. Heaven, religions say, is not of this world. It awaits you in the next. So, you'll leave your body here and go to heaven. But without a body, what will you do with good food and many virgins? That's why I say, heavens will collapse. When people start asking logical questions, heavens collapse. We've managed humanity for a long time by saying, yes, you're suffering in this world, but God is watching everything. One day, he will reward you, but not now. First, you have to die. This system will no longer work. And when it stops working, what will people do? A significant consequence will be the increased reliance on drugs. To feel calm, we will need chemicals. To feel happy, we will seek them out. In the United States, nearly everyone uses some kind of medication. 70% of the population takes prescription drugs. Do you know how much more alcohol and drugs are consumed today compared to 25 years ago? Their use has increased 10,000 times. This happens because, in people's minds, heaven is collapsing. You need to understand this. The idea that somewhere else will be better, the idea that I have to wait until I die to be happy, is falling apart. People want to feel good here, in this life. They need to learn how to simply sit and experience immense joy just for being alive. This is possible. This is what must be taught. I feel this joy every moment, an immense happiness for the simple fact of being alive. How many of you feel this indescribable joy? Life itself, within you, is an ecstatic process. If this isn't taught, 90% of people will turn en masse to drugs, medications, and alcohol in the coming years. I say this not as a moral issue. There is no moral judgment in this. It's just that we must understand that we occupy this space on the planet for only a brief time. During this fleeting period of life, we must first learn how to be happy, and secondly, we must not forget our two fundamental responsibilities. The first is to leave the world a little better than it was given to us by the previous generation. But we can no longer achieve this. Even if we started doing everything right today, it would still take another 200 years to repair the damage we've already caused. There's no way to leave the world better than it was when we arrived. The second major responsibility we have as a generation is to ensure that the next generation is at least one step ahead of us. But if 90% of humanity depends on some type of chemical substance, believe me, we will produce a generation genetically inferior to ours. That would be a crime against humanity. Therefore, one fundamental aspect that every nation, every society must address is teaching people how to find well-being within themselves. Unfortunately, today, teaching you how to live joyfully is not considered a service. In the past, in this country, ancient India, the most important thing was knowing how to be at peace with yourself. This was the most respected virtue, because it was understood what would come from it. When you no longer fear, when you no longer dread suffering, that's when you can walk through life fully. Only then are great human beings created. If we want to create a great nation, a great society, there is one fundamental truth to keep in mind. There are only individual human beings. Only by producing great human beings can we hope to have a great society, a great nation, and a great world.
These are the words of Sadhguru. Thank you, Master. Now let us share our thoughts. The heavens are collapsing. The dogmas and beliefs that postpone our happiness are numbered. Power structures, built on ideologies and unquestionable authority, are crumbling under the weight of logical questioning, growing awareness, and most importantly, the spiritual drive that we now feel urgently within us. Great men, the chosen ones, those who truly change the course of history, do not follow imposed patterns. They think for themselves, challenge conventions, and embrace doubt as an opportunity for growth. They are the ones who refuse to settle for prepackaged answers and instead seek the truth, especially when that truth shakes the very foundations of the system. We are beginning to see beyond the illusions of control. Otherworldly promises and unshakable dogmas are no longer enough to quiet our minds. Times are changing, and with them, the way humanity relates to power, spirituality, and its own destiny. The more people awaken, the more steps forward we will all take, as we are connected to the universe and, without a doubt, to each other as human beings. Never stop asking questions, higher ones every day. If this message has touched you, dear great man or great woman, I'll see you in the comments, where I will learn from you and your unique perspective. Because you are the universe. We are the universe, and now you are part of us, of this new community of extraordinary beings who exchange ideas and grow in the comments. Welcome among us. If you want to continue the journey right away, the video you see on the screen is perfect. Dear friend, thank you for this exchange. The most precious resource you possess is time. I promise you won't waste it.